Hey guys, Cryptogasm here for Cryptogasmic. So let's do an update on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe a few of the others, and let's just sort of see where we're at. But I want to focus mainly on Bitcoin and Ethereum still, because basically Bitcoin is what rules the market and will determine what everything does. And as you all know, we went through a pretty violent crash over the last couple of weeks. From our highs up here of basically 20,000, right back down to 6. So let's go through it and see where we're at. We're by no means out of a bear possibility that could last for a few months. So what we've got to do is basically analyze both sides of the story, because there are signs for good and there's also some signs for bad. So I think at this stage, the best thing that we can do is just go through stages and be prepared for both sides. So let's start with the bigger picture. Let's look out at the daily. Okay, so the top green line is basically the trend we were following in 2017. As you can see, we come up, we touch the line, and this was the first time we broke it here in November, end of November. So this was a really bullish sign. So those of you who have been with me for a while know that I got out around about here, okay, thinking that I got out around here somewhere. And if we have a look at over here, yep. So I got out around here thinking this down was going to be the beginning of the cycle, but we got this impulsive hysteria that took it up to 20 grand. Now, I never chased it in here, so I've always been expecting this correction. So what we got to work out is this the end of a correction, or is there still a long way to go in the correction, or are we going to get a continuation? So let's look at the factors. So we go out on the daily. Obviously, we broke through this trend, and we basically bounced off the 2017 trend here. We can probably move that just a little bit more from candle to candle. So as you can see, without the candle, this was the perfect place that we had to bounce. If we broke through here, it was going to break down all the way, and that's what I was saying last week. So this position here provided us some perfect buying opportunities. And once we climbed back into here, so that 7,000, 6,800 was the prime buying opportunity on this run. So I purchased Bitcoin at 6,800. I've moved my stop loss up over to 7,000 now. So no matter what, I'm going to make some profit. So the object of the game is to make profit, not to just look at digital numbers going up and down and watching them chase every 15 minutes. You know, you've got to convert this into money to live your life for it to be a worthwhile exercise. Whether that's weekly, monthly, yearly, long-term, whatever your strategy is, have a plan. So my plan here was we were always going to get a reversal somewhere, and if it was going to happen, it needed to happen here on this trend, which it did. And everybody panicked right into here, and I did my best to tell you all not to sell into that panic. And even if you did want to sell, wait for a better place to sell. You know, you never sell the bottoms, guys. All right, 6,000. But if anybody who sold around here on this down, it's a really, really bad move. Okay, so that's a good sign, a bullish sign there. Okay, so if we have a look now here at the downtrend to see where we're at. So we have a look here. Okay. So there. So we've also broken through this downtrend, which is a really good sign. Something like that. Okay. So we now need to stay on. We can't fall back through this line. Okay. So even if we move this across to here now. No. Something like this. So this is a really important, you can see we're consolidating now, right? And if we put a fib on that, right. So as you can see here, this trend that we had here finished here and broke out, and then we started a new trend. So this is really the whole run, guys. So for those of you who entered in November, December, you really raced, you chased at the wrong part. So the big thing I want to teach you all here at Cryptogasmic is that there is lots of money to be made in crypto. And probably the two most important things are understanding not to chase, and you have to be patient, and then getting the right entry. Up here is the wrong entry. Wait for this cycle to finish, get a new entry. So if we take a fib from this new cycle here, okay. So you can see we're consolidating right across this line here. So I'm expecting this to bounce around in this area for a little bit. So that's around the, what are we looking at? 8,000, you know, between 8,000, 8,003, 8,500. But we are going to have to make a break away from this, okay? And what we really do need to do, so the next level we're looking at now is here, right? So we should get a run up to this 10,000 mark. Now, what happens there is going to be a big deciding factor in what I do in here, this level here, okay? And then here. So don't be fooled by this reversal here, okay? If we go back and we look at the last time we had a major crash, I think it was 2014. Let's just have a look. If we go back, yeah, into here. All right. So I just want to show you guys something. And just to show you that cycles really, really repeat themselves, okay? So we had a huge parabolic run here where we went from $60 right up to $1,100 and a bit over. Then we had this run down. So look, we had a dramatic fall and we had this rise here, kind of like what we're dealing with now. And then same thing. So I kind of feel like we're in this place here, okay, in the current cycle now. So you can obviously see what happened after that, okay. We sort of got down to $420 and everybody thought, wow, we're out. It almost doubled, and then it bled all the way back down to it challenged $150 again. So this is what we've got to be careful with this cycle over here. So I just wanted to show you that, to show you that it's a possibility. And, you know, it just never ceases to amaze me how nobody wanted to buy it when it was here. But now that it's all coming up here, everybody wants to start buying it again. And, you know, this is the beauty about cryptocurrency and to make money is the more stronger that this gets running up, the more people are probably going to want to chase it and buy it, okay? So when we get into this area here, we're going to have to probably make some decisions whether we feel this is going to continue, the parabolic rise, okay, or whether it's going to hit and it's going to bounce and it's going to fall through. Because if we come up here and we start to turn around and we fall through this line again, it's probably going to bleed all the way back down. If we look at an 88% retracement, something like that, we're going to be looking back to challenge $3,000 again. And if that happens, I'm going to be sitting there waiting because I understand that it's a market that markets have emotional cycles that repeat themselves over and over and over again. So what we've done is basically we came back, and right now we are challenging this bottom here in the other cycle over here. Okay. These emotional points repeat themselves over and over and over again. Okay. So you can see this previous top. Here is where we challenged it on the bottom here, and we've really cleared this line here. So what other levels now do we have to clear for this to become bullish? So this is going to be the next level here. We need to get across this downtrend, but I think if we look at it on the hourly, let me just get rid of that. Let me get rid of this. All right, let's have a look here at this immediate downtrend that we needed to break. Down through here. Okay, so we have basically cleared this line. So the next line we're looking at now, and this is why I like to look at daily charts, guys, and try to wash out a lot of the noise that's happening in between, because people will be, hey, it's tumbling, oh, it's going up, sort of on a 15-minute frame, and that's not going to do any good for your sanity. So right now, we really are looking here, as I said, as a determining point. Around that 9,008, 10,000 mark. So I got it back in at around about 6,800, and I've set myself a target now of 9,800 to look at taking some profit. $3,000 a coin is really good profit, guys. So hopefully some of you got in there. Now, this could also, if we look at the cloud on the daily, this is the first time in a long time that we've actually fallen through the daily cloud. All right, so that's a really bearish sign, okay? And we're not even going to be anywhere near being back in a bull zone until we can first break this level and get back above this trend here. Now, this is probably the point that we're going to find resistance, and this is why, even though my initial target is 9,800, I do think we're probably going to come and challenge here. Right on the bottom of this cloud is where I would be looking to find resistance, around that 11,050. Let's call it 11,000. So if you did get into Bitcoin back here at 6 or 7, I think 9,800 is your first target that you're really cautiously looking at maybe taking some profits. And then we're going to be looking here again, right in this here, 11,400, okay, on the bottom of this cloud. So these are the levels we need to cross. Now, what I'm expecting, maybe, if this is just a continuation of the emotional cycle that needs to play out, where are we? We could do something like this. Bounce off the cloud, tag, and fall through like this. Which we would get to complete capitulation. Everybody on the news will be saying, I told you so, tulips and all that sort of shit. And then a new cycle will start. That's the way the market works. And if you look at that, it's really well within spec of, I mean, look at this run. And this is our run down. Okay, so be prepared for that. I think we don't probably have to make a decision for another couple of days. If we look at some indicators here. So we can see, we said 2 days ago the daily was on the floor and it had finally crossed and was gaining some momentum. So this game's all about momentum, guys. So we saw the daily a couple of days ago gaining momentum, and it's building really, really nicely. If we look at the MACD, we're right at the bottom and just turned. So we've got all of this room to grow. Now this could cross. It needs to cross this red line first, and it could falter out. But we need to start getting some up on the longer term frames. on the histogram. Okay. Again, you can see if we look back in history, this is a very, very notable downtrend. And it hasn't been this bad in the history of Bitcoin. Okay, so we can't forget that, guys. Don't think that you're out of the woods yet. Be really, really cautious with it. So that's a good sign. We've just started to paint up, but as you can see, it can quite easily fall back down. So this momentum needs to grow or flow over into the daily. Okay, the 3 daily is still falling. So we're by no means out of the woods yet. However, the imminent signs are quite good for now. We've started painting some upward bars here. Okay. RSI is back at strength. A lot of people are buying it. And an interesting thing here, guys, if you have a look at the volume. Now, let's have a look at the volume. On the daily. So this green bar here, look at this. This is the volume that went in that hit our bounce right here, which is what needed to happen. You know, and a lot of technical people look for the same thing. So they were probably looking for this bottom and a lot of money pumped. Now, if I go right back, I can't find another period where that amount of volume went in one day. Look at that. Going all the way back. So even back here, when people were pumping the price here at $700-800, even, look, we have to go all the way back here. We have to go all the way back to November 2015. And even that falls below this support line, below this purple line. Hang on, that's in the wrong position. There we go. Okay, so sorry guys, it keeps moving there. Looking at the daily volume here. Okay. So we have to go all the way back here to November 2015 to find a day that had more volume of Bitcoin going into it. So that's a pretty huge sign that that amount of volume went in at that exact time. So whether the bulls can carry this over the line or not remains to be seen. But we're going to be looking, guys, at 9,800 and then at the 11,400. Those are the levels that we need to clear. If we come and tag this red trend line and we fall down through it again, definitely we need to get out of the market at that stage. But at the moment it's looking positive, but we've got to be prepared. All right. Let's have a quick look at Ethereum. So there we go. So we've finally popped across the hourly cloud. And instead of resistance, which it was here, we've actually found support. We found a double bottom here in this cloud. So this is a positive sign for today. It's only the hourly. I still don't think we're through the 3-hour cloud. So the 3 hours still finding resistance. Look, resistance, resistance. So it's in stages, guys. So we need, step one is we need to get back through this daily cloud, which is back to challenge 9,000. So that's probably the next place we're going to get resistance. All right, on our way through this trend line here. So look at it in stages. Let's go and have a quick look at Ethereum now. And it's following the same kind of patterns. Okay. So Ethereum, I mean, that's the recent trend, but if we look at the trend from back here, okay, you'll see that Ethereum is above trend still, and it never dropped below trend. So that's showing a lot of strength, and a lot of volume went in on the same day as Bitcoin markets. And so happens to be the same day that the stock market crashed, which is quite bizarre. All right, now I think we've cleared this this bottom here. This was the, if we look here and extend this out, okay, just on these bottoms here, this was obviously a point of interest, and we've come down and we've tagged the bottom here. So we've bounced right off of this mark, and I had my buy box here waiting and told you all this was the perfect place to get back in, around that 570. So if anybody got back in there, okay, we've now found support on this line, the 800, which is great, okay, and let's have a look here. Okay. So the same as Bitcoin, right? The hourly we've broken through finally. 3 hours probably not broken through yet. Yeah, so it's almost identical to Bitcoin, except it's holding its. The crash wasn't so bad on Ethereum as it was on the Bitcoin. Okay. So with Ethereum, I'm expecting it to come up here and challenge and probably find its next resistance around about the $920 mark. And I am expecting it to come back up to these highs of 1300. 1300 is my target for Ethereum. So, and whether we see a continuation or a further bleed in the cycle, we're going to have to see at that time. Okay. So you can see, even on the daily, we never fell through the daily cloud with Ethereum like we did on Bitcoin. Okay, we fell through the daily cloud really hard right then. So again, you can see a real parabolic rise. So if you've only just entered here, you really have chased the top of this thing. And same as Bitcoin, I'm expecting us to come up here, and if we break through and continue on, or if we turn and we come back down, we're going to fall back through this line and probably come down and challenge down here around the $400 mark again, possibly all the way back down to here. Okay, so we're not out of the woods. Dash was a big coin that I told everybody under 500 was a huge buy, 400, and this was one that I entered down in here. Okay. However, everything is going to rely on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin tanks, this is all going to tank as well. All right. So basically, just a summary there. We're watching Bitcoin closely. I'm really not entering any trades because, you know, we see things going up 20% and then they come straight back down the next day. XLM is one that I entered just above. I had my buy set in here somewhere around 41, between 40 and 41. So I've got a stop loss on that now. And if I get stopped out, you know, maybe I'll re-enter. I don't know. But, you know, don't go putting all your eggs into one basket, guys, because everything's going to rely on what Bitcoin does at the moment. But I did see that this was probably the point where it was going to break out. We can just see the daily it was just starting to turn here a couple of days ago, and it's just turning again now. Okay, so it's having some strength here today, and hopefully we'll get a turn out of this into some long term, and we just see what happens over the week. So the 3 daily is looking pretty strong. So, you know, give XLM a few more days, and if Bitcoin continues to go, I think you'll see some profit in XLM. But I'm not really looking heavily at a lot of trades. Obviously, all the bigger when you get the big dips and the big crashes, what you want to do is use those opportunities to buy your things like NEO, your things like XLM, things like Litecoin, which I sent out a signal to buy under 140. So we're in profit there. Still riding above the trend. We bounced right off of the trend here. And again, it's the same thing. We need to get through this point. So even with Litecoin, we need to sort of get up around the 165, 170 to get a bit of clear sky and clear through there. But it's all going to depend on Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash has had a big run in the last few days. Okay, but all very reliant on Bitcoin. All right. So hopefully some of you grabbed it in here in the position where I told you to get it under 7,000. If you did, you're riding some profit right now. And we're just waiting to see whether we break up through this line as step number one. Okay. Around this 10,300, 9,800. If then we're going to be looking for the resistance here around the 11.4, I think we said. Okay. And then ultimately we're looking to get back above this green line for a bullish continuation. I'm kind of expecting that we might hit the top of this cloud around the 11,300, which is going to be a spot where I'm going to be looking to take profit. And if I see a reversal here, and if we hit this line and go through it, then I'm out of the market for now, because I do expect to bleed all the way down. We'll take our profits and we'll sit and we'll wait, and then we'll be looking to short the market, probably all the way down to 5,000, and make some money that way, which I'll advise you all on, and then look to re-enter. So it's just all about learning to play the cycles. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Keep an eye on it. Don't be a slave to the trade. And any questions, let me know in the chat room. All right, happy to have you all here. Take care.